Hi, my name's David. I'm one of the editors at The Great Outdoors. Coming to you this morning from what has been quite a rainy and midgy camp last night, but it's clearing up well this morning. It's a beautiful day here in the Cairngorms. So I thought today it might be useful to look at some alternatives to the specialist meals that you can find in outdoor shops. They're certainly great for longer trips, I think. Very calorifically dense, usually packed really small, but as you'll probably have seen, they're pretty expensive. So for a few days at a time, or certainly for a weekender, there's a bunch of stuff that you can do, mostly from supermarkets, that will hopefully save you a few quid. For me, the day doesn't get started without coffee. I don't bother with the kind of coffee that I would normally drink at home or in a coffee shop. I just use ground coffee, and for me I mix it with hot chocolate. It gives me a sort of a faux mocha. Tea and herbal teas for later on in the day. Good to stay hydrated, just in life, but especially outdoors. And porridge oats. Different people do different things. Some people use granola. I've actually got some granola and some muesli in here as well. So it's a sort of a mixture of things. I add to that whatever I've got around. So there's some apple in here, dried apple, and some raisins, and a little bit of milk powder for me. If you don't use milk, of course, there are other options out there. During the course of the day, I find it's quite good just to snack. Maybe not do a big meal at lunch, but to snack throughout the day. Certainly if I'm walking or cycling throughout the day, just to keep the energy levels up. Oat bars. These are Aldi ones. Other supermarkets are available, as you'll know. Mixed nuts and raisins. I tend to like salt and sweet myself. It's quite good to keep the salt levels up if you're working. And for me, it's a real staple, cheese and oat cakes. I've put the cheese here in some greaseproof paper. Of course, if you don't cut it before, make sure that you bring a penknife. I've got an apple here to go with my cheese, because it's not all about the dirty food. Quite often I'll have a chocolate bar. I tend to save that for the end of the day as a bit of a treat. I've eaten the chocolate bar, I ate it last night, so you'll have to take my word on that. So that's got us to about tea time, and hopefully we've set up camp, and we're thinking about the main meal. I will show you noodles first. I tend to find noodles quite digestible, no matter how tired I am. I will tend to use the kind of things that you can find in a supermarket. Again, they're quite inexpensive. They usually have seasonings with. This is just one variety. I will tend to break them out into a Ziploc, maybe add a few more just plain noodles, and then I will also add some things into these basics to just boost the flavour a little bit. In here I've got some dried seaweed. I have got some dried mushrooms. I have got some more seasoning. There's even some toffee sticks in here, and that just helps lift the flavour a little bit. I will definitely have a soup. Again, just keeping those fluid levels and salt levels up. A bunch of different varieties out there. I really like miso soup myself. Dried pasta, giving camp food a bad name since forever. I've eaten the tomato one that I prepared last night, that had pine kernels and sun-dried tomatoes, completely dehydrated sun-dried tomatoes, not the olive oil based ones. I ate that last night. It was pretty good. And to this I might add, if you eat meat, then you can add slices of chorizo, you can add some extra cheese, you might even add some more sun-dried tomatoes, and that again just helps lift the flavour. They can be a bit hit and miss, these pastas, but if you add things in, that can really help. Talking of adding things in, again, I've used my olive oil, most of it anyway, but carry some olive oil with you. It's really good for, again, just helping the food rehydrate, boosts your calories, and it boosts the flavour as well. So I really recommend carrying a little bottle of olive oil with you. It's probably the most calorifically dense thing you can carry on a trip. I might also do couscous and fish. It's a favourite, and again, you can add things to the couscous just to sort of boost it. I quite often add chili flakes and maybe some dates. That can make quite a nice meal. I don't eat much meat, but I do eat fish. I'm a hypocritarian, so quite often a tin of fish will come with me. And if I don't fancy the couscous, then I might do some dried mash. That's quite a big meal. Doesn't look great in the pot, but it is quite a big meal, so that can be quite good too. Again, just to mix up your options over a few days. If you stay with the same thing, you're going to get very bored very quickly. I should probably talk about my camp kitchen, such as it is. It's not very complicated. A stove, a pot that sits on top. In this case, there are lots of different varieties. Not going to get into that today. The thing that is worth mentioning about this pot is that it has some insulation on it, and that can be quite useful if you are using these kinds of foods and you're adding things to them just to boost the flavour a little bit. Just leaving your food in there a couple more minutes just to let it rehydrate properly, and that insulation will keep it warm and help with the rehydration process. Over a week or more, it can save you quite a lot of fuel, which, yeah, it's useful for longer trips. So a pot, I tend to do everything in one pot. I will have a spoon and a cup, and that is it, and that's usually all I carry. Perhaps last but not least, squeezy water bottles, collapsible water bottles, really useful. Don't really need them today because I'm camped near a river, but certainly on a high camp in the mountains, really useful if you want to camp away from the water source. And also, I don't know about you, but I'm quite lazy in the mornings. I like to be able to make a coffee without getting out of my pit, and so those are really useful. I will always have at least one or two of those with me, unless I've forgotten and they're still in the freezer. So is there still a place for specialist meals? I think so. Certainly on trips of longer than about a week, it's quite easy to run a bit of a calorie deficit, and those specially designed and packaged meals are useful for boosting your energy levels. But most of the time, myself and I know quite a few of the team at The Great Outdoors will get by on this kind of food absolutely no problem. So hopefully that shows you some ways in which you can save some money. One thing to mention, I suppose, is all the packaging. There is a lot of single-use packaging here. That goes for the specialist meals as well, when you'll usually end up with quite mucky silver foil type packaging that then all has to be taken out. It is a little bit unavoidable. What I try and do as often as I can is mitigate it by reusing these Ziplocs, and this one happens to be an IKEA one. Of course there are other varieties. The original Ziplocs are really durable, and I will just take them home, wash them out, dry them, and then reuse them. And that's a way, I mean, most of these bags, to be honest, these bags have been in service for years. So that's one way I try and minimise the environmental impact of what we're doing here. So I hope that's been useful, and thanks for watching. Catch you next time. Great Outdoors is Britain's longest running outdoor magazine, and we're here to help you make the most of your time outside. Our stories and skills pieces come straight from the trail, and our reviews are trusted and independent. The gear review team is the most experienced in Britain. Together we are mountain leaders and instructors, wildlife rangers and photographers, outdoor authors and guidebook writers. But most of all, we're outdoor lovers. Follow us online at TGO Magazine, sign up for a newsletter, or best of all, pick up a print copy. Tent's not on fire, it's a midge coil, just so you can see that. Or a fake mocker, what I like to call a focker. Good grief. I don't know. Rubbery cheeses will do quite well. 26p from Woolworths, that cost, back in the day. Special products that you... Let's go speak. I'll do that again. The great outdoors, the great outdoors. The great outdoors, here we are in the great outdoors.